everybody, it's Jonathan here from my house, the place for RCs I can afford because I'm broke. And today I'm going to be reviewing the New Bright Heavy Metal 1/10 scale RC truck. So you can see here it's got the nice Ford F-150 Raptor body on it. And yes, it is metal. I think it's a very neat, interesting design where the entire outside of the truck shaft or body is actually metal. I think that's really cool. It has a built-in battery, so you just plug in the unit itself into the wall and charge it. Personally, I'm not much of a fan of that. I prefer the older battery style, but they were kind of New Bright proprietary, so you had to get New Bright, or basically another RC to actually get a new battery, because I don't think you can get just the battery by itself, so this isn't all too different, I suppose. There's a couple different styles you can get. You can get the Ford F-150 Raptor, there's a Dodge Ram, there's a Chevrolet Silverado, and there's also a Jeep you can get as well, but I went with the Ford. All right, and as you can see, we got it out of the box. This is one of the few RCs New Bright occasionally makes where it feels like they actually put some effort into it. Oh Lord. This is actually a really nice looking RC. I really like the way this looks. The tires are all right. They have a decent tread pattern. They're definitely hard, especially for how much this thing will. I feel like they're probably too hard to be too effective. The suspension on it's actually pretty nice. There's a decent amount of flex to it and give, so that's pretty nice. One thing I do feel I need to bring up is the New Bright Death Wobble, which I'm calling it. It's currently affecting all of their RCs at the moment. As you see, this one is a lot better because I tightened the screw. Usually that doesn't help, but this one it helped quite a bit, but it's still pretty bad, where the front wheels will wobble like crazy. And this is not an issue until a couple of months ago. In fact, this is an RC I bought just before that happened. As you can see, very little movement, if any at all. That's how their stuff was previously, and for whatever reason now it's like this, but way worse on every single one of their products. Some sort of quality control issue at New Bright that's taken place across their entire lineup of RCs. So at least until they get this fixed, I would wait, but it's been a couple of months, so this could be the new norm for New Bright, unfortunately. With that note aside, let's move on to the transmitter. It does come with 2 AA batteries, New Bright branded. New Bright actually has some very nice AA's, so I would definitely keep these for later use. And the transmitter, while a very similar style to what's going around the RC world right now, my Easy RC Glacier has one like this. I've had rock crawlers like this. It's just kind of a generic pistol grip, but it feels like it has digital proportional steering and digital proportional throttle. I don't know, we'll have to find that out, but this is a pretty nice feeling controller, all things considered. You put batteries in there, it takes 2 AA's. As far as the truck, of course, it charges by USB. It has a little storage compartment at the bottom. You'll open that up, it goes in there, charges the little battery. It takes 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes, depending on what kind of charger you use. But yeah, I think that's enough of looking at the RC. Let's take it out and test it. I want to get a better up-close look of it out in the sunlight before I took it out. It's got screws in each metal panel, which is honestly pretty cool. This is I feel like one of those RCs New Bright releases every once in a blue moon that's actually worth your money. I think it says $50, but hey, we'll find out, won't we? So this truck does appear to have a fair bit of speed to it and a fair bit of torque, thankfully, because it's getting through this freshly mowed grass pretty good. Have a little bit of trouble steering it through it though. It is full left, it's having a little bit of trouble steering through it, but it's getting through it though. It's not getting too bogged down, honestly. Oh, and it stopped. Oh, there it goes. Trying to control it with, I'm having to do this, so a little bit difficult to control, so that might be the reason why it lost signal there. Trying to get it to turn left again. We are going through some fairly thick grass, and also that issue with the wheels not staying center very widely. See, even when they're tightened up like they are, you can still see there's a fair bit of lean to the front ones. Even though they're tightened up all the way, it's almost got camber to it. But as you can see, on the street, it's pretty heavy. And it still doesn't turn very good, particularly to the left. right seems to turn alright, but see, right it seems to turn okay, but to the left it's just not very good. Alright, so adjusting the steering trim did help, so it was turning straight. The only problem I still have is when you would go into heavy off-road, say the grass where it was very tall, it would still turn really badly, and I think that's due to the front wheels, how much wiggle they would have. It was almost straightening itself out, so the steering is affected in heavy areas like that. But keep in mind this is also just $50. Let's do a wheelie. Let's see if we can make it do a wheelie. Not quite. The thing is quick, I will give it that, it's quick. And it does have a fair bit of torque to it. Steering servo is kind of weak, honestly, particularly when you start going through the grass. It doesn't turn very far. It's starting to drizzle a little bit now, so I probably have to go inside because this is indeed not waterproof. Tires are tall enough where you could probably take it through some water, as long as it doesn't get up into any of the components. It'd probably be fine. I still probably wouldn't recommend you do that, but some other small notes I had on the RC. While it did perform pretty good, it did seem to have some sort of safety cutoff or something. I'm not entirely sure. When I was running around and the motors got real nice and warm, just occasionally when it would come under, I guess, a really stressful load, it would just kind of stop and sit there for a little bit. It would only be like maybe a second or so before it would just get up and right going again, and I'm assuming that's some sort of maybe safety cutoff or something. I'm honestly not entirely sure. You can see here, I'm taking it over some pretty rough terrain. The wheels may actually grip a lot better than I thought they were going to. They're still not very soft, so they don't have a lot of give to them, but the tread on them is actually pretty good, so the traction is actually not too bad. And like I said, the truck's torquey enough that any obstacle you come up in front of, usually it'll power itself over it without getting too bogged down. As far as range for the controller, it's got a fair bit of range to it. I've noticed a lot of new Bright products seem to do pretty good in this category. As you can see, I drove it a fair far away before it finally lost signal, and even then all I had to do was extend my arm and it would come back to me. So as far as my final thoughts, honestly, the only main issues I really had with this RC was just those occasional moments when it would stop to, I guess, cool itself down, but there were only a couple at second at most. And then the steering in very rough terrain from the front wheels wiggling, that would be pretty bad. But other than that, honestly, this RC performed really well. I was actually genuinely surprised. And as far as a rating goes, I'd give the new Bright Heavy Metal a B+. And that'll do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.